every dip and every tap with no surprise fees. Deposits come fast, like as soon as the next business day fast. And with easy-to-read sales reports, you can grow your business fast. Accept every card, every payment, everywhere, and get paid fast. Get started at square.com.
You're searching for something, like the perfect deal on the perfect hotel. So wouldn't it be perfect if there was a single site where you could find the right hotel for you at the best price? There is, because TripAdvisor now compares prices from over 200 booking sites to save you up to 30% on the hotel you want. Trust this bird's words. TripAdvisor, the latest reviews, the lowest prices.
President Trump departed Friday for his first official visit to Asia. The 12-day, 5-country tour includes stops in Japan, South Korea, China, Vietnam, and the Philippines, and comes amid growing tensions in the region, including Kim Jong-un's nuclear provocations in North Korea and Xi Jinping's tightening grip on power in China. We're back with Dan Henninger, Mary Kissel, and Bill McGurn. So, Mary, what should we look for on this trip?
Well, I think his itinerary shows what the priorities are, Paul. He's going first to Japan and then to South Korea. Obviously, the focus there is to show solidarity against North Korea. And then he goes to China, where he's going to exert, I think, more pressure on Beijing to tighten the financial strings to the north. The southern leg of the trip, when he goes to Philippines and Vietnam, that is all about China, because those countries are important allies in terms of our containment of China. He's trying to reestablish U.S. deterrence in the region. These are important priorities. But my fear is, Paul, that he might go and talk about trade and what he calls fair trade, focus on trade deficits, instead of talking about free and open trade, the kind of liberalization that we need to emphasize.
On that point, Mary, if he's going to South Korea and Japan to tell them, look, we need to unite around in solidarity against Beijing. Here's your priority. And then you go in and say, oh, and by the way, folks, you need to make sure that you make this trade concession to us and that trade concession to us and the following trade concession to us. That undercuts part of his message.
Yeah, it certainly does. And by the way, it's tough for Japan and South Korea to be friends in the first place, given their history together. One other thing, Paul, that I'd note, President Trump has not spoken very much about human rights and democracy. He's going to many countries on this trip that have a terrible record, including China, including Vietnam, including the Philippines. One of the briefings this week noted that Trump has a warm rapport with Rodrigo Duterte. Not a good look for the administration. It is important to talk about these things because it sends a message to the people of these countries, not just the leadership.
Dan.
Well, I think one thing you're seeing here is what we might call a pivot to Asia. Remember that? Barack Obama's famous pivot to Asia, except that Obama pivoted to Iran to do the nuclear deal for most of his presidency, even as North Korea was continuing to develop thermonuclear weapons, lobbing missiles over the Sea of Japan. And this has gotten the attention of the American people. North Korea is clearly a threat. These other countries, other than China, that he's visiting, are worried about China pushing into the South China Sea. And what he's going to do, something that the National Security Council advisor, General McMaster, really wants to do, and Jim Mattis, the defense secretary, is reconstitute our alliances over there and get a sort of broadened security network that doesn't rely solely on the United States protecting the region, but pulls in all of these other countries in an alliance that will push back against North Korea and China.
Bill, I was in Tokyo and Singapore last week, and the message that I heard consistently was that they want from the president is reassurance of the U.S. commitment. Right. What they fear is that Trump is not something distinctive, but that he's a continuation of what Obama started.
Right.
And Obama withdrew us from that part of the world, notwithstanding the rhetoric of the pivot. There were no resources he put behind it, or very few. And they see China on the ascendance, filling the gap left by American retreat.
Right.
And they fear that with Trump's withdrawal from the Pacific trade deal, for example, that he's going to continue that. What they're looking for here is him saying, no, we're not.
Right. Look, the reality starts with that the post-war experience of American leadership in Asia helped these countries democratize, helped trade, helped enrich them, and it's been very good for the United States.
And I should just tell people, you lived in Hong Kong for many years.
And it's been very good for Asia, and for the most part, who are the two people that are opposed to that? China, because it's a big country and it wants to dominate its own region, and North Korea, because they're just a belligerent, nasty little country. And these are the two issues for Donald